After the Northern Illinois loss, I trust Marcus Freeman. Situationally, Notre Dame is very sound. Look at the way they executed that punt to offense, getting the offside. Like, situationally, this team understands how to perform and execute. They also know who they are and lean into that blueprint defensively and offensively. They know what they are offensively, and they don't generally veer outside of that. That's the one question I have about Penn State. And this is why I trust Notre Dame just a little bit more, is because from Penn State's perspective, I love this team. This is a really, really good team that at times can get in their own way in these games.
All right, Joel Klatt, the verdict is in and you have spoken. Put your belief in Marcus Freeman. That's respect right there. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Joel Klatt telling the truth about Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame. Notre Dame is currently on the verge of going to the national championship game for the first time since the 2012 season. In fact, all Notre Dame has to do is beat Penn State in the Orange Bowl game. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Do you trust Marcus Freeman to get a win for Notre Dame against Penn State? I do. I agree with everything Joel Klatt had to say about Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame. This is not a knock on James Franklin for Penn State, but when you look at Notre Dame's football team, they understand their identity entirely. They understand that they are not a team that is built to come back from behind. So you know what they do? They develop a good run game and play great defense. They understand that they have to get the football in Jeremiah Love's hands as often as possible. He's their college football version of Derrick Henry. Obviously, these two players don't play the same way, but Jeremiah Love is the ultimate workhorse in college football. Obviously, he's not the best running back in college football, but he's certainly up there when we talk about great running backs in college football. We also think about how Notre Dame's defense has been excellent in the college football playoff. They did a great job shutting down the high-powered Indiana offense. Yes, I know the box score stats are going to say that Indiana scored 17 points on Notre Dame in the first round of the college football playoff, but let's keep it honest. If you guys actually watched the game, did anybody really think Indiana's offense stood a chance against Notre Dame's defense? Because the answer is no to that question. Two of those touchdowns that Indiana scored against Notre Dame came in garbage time when the score was 27-3 with less than 2 minutes left to go in that ball game. Notre Dame was basically playing backups in the field at that point. When you also look at Notre Dame's defense, they also did great against Georgia. A lot of people thought Georgia was going to come out of that game victorious, but that did not happen because Notre Dame's defense was phenomenal. They did a great job stopping Gunnar Stockton for Georgia. They couldn't run the ball against them as well. Trevor Etienne was ineffective for Georgia when they tried to run the football against Notre Dame, and therefore Notre Dame was able to come out of that game victorious as well. There's a reason why Notre Dame is in the Final Four, and it's because Notre Dame plays really good defense. They can stop the run, they can run the football effectively, and obviously when you have those two factors go in your favor, that's going to travel to any place at any given time, especially in the college football playoff. Obviously, Notre Dame is not built like Ohio State, where they're going to be a track star team, where they're going to be putting up points at will. Notre Dame is more of a physical team. You got to think of Notre Dame as last year's version of Michigan's team, although it's going to be a much worse roster when you compare Notre Dame's roster to Michigan's roster. But my point still stands. They're going to dominate their play at the offensive line position groups, and they're also going to dominate their positions at the defensive line. You also look at how they are a physical team. They're a tough team at the line of scrimmage, and obviously I think Notre Dame matched up against Penn State pretty well. I know Penn State's defensive line is awesome. Abdul is one of the best defensive players in college football right now. He can certainly wreck up a game at any given point, but when you talk about Notre Dame's offensive line, they are entirely a different beast. Notre Dame's offensive line is one of the best in the country, and they're going to be able to limit the impact Penn State's defensive line has in this ball game. Obviously, Notre Dame has faced adversity all year long. In fact, they've basically been in playoff mode since September when they lost to Northern Illinois. That was a bad loss at the time. A lot of people counted out Notre Dame during that time period. Obviously, I didn't count Notre Dame out. I still said Notre Dame was going to make the college football playoff at the time. Obviously, if you're Stephen A. Smith, though, you didn't believe in that at the time. I'm going to show you guys a clip of what Stephen A. Smith said after Notre Dame lost their game against Northern Illinois. He sounds like an absolute idiot now. I thought he was very dumb at that time of the statement. Obviously, he sounds even dumber now. Roll the film.
with a schedule that is suspect. And now it's ranked as the 52nd toughest schedule in the FBS, combined with games like Georgia Tech and Army on the schedule. We got to look at them and say, all right, man, handle your business against Louisville, handle your business against USC. That is your claim to the playoffs? It ain't happening. Hell no. I can't see it. It's over right now in September.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
This is why a lot of people clown on Stephen A. Smith. You want to talk about overreactionary takes? That is the definition of that. When Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, Stephen A. Smith acted like that was the end of the world for Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame. But guess what? Notre Dame hasn't lost a football game since then. Notre Dame has gotten better as a football team since that moment. And anybody that tries to discredit their level of competition needs to shut up and watch Notre Dame in the college football playoff, because they did a great job dominating Indiana. I know they were supposed to win the Indiana game in blowout fashion. I thought they were going to blow out Indiana as well, but there were some people that believed that Indiana could keep it close against Notre Dame. I remember Joel Klatt saying that Notre Dame was going to lose to Indiana. I personally did not agree with Joel Klatt on that take, but that was a take he made nonetheless. And then you also look at Notre Dame against Georgia. I didn't think they had a chance against Georgia to win that ball game, but they did exactly that. Jeremiah Love does a great job controlling the clock with the way how he runs the football. He wears down opposing defenses. And obviously, Notre Dame understood that they can't drop back 35 to 40 times and expect success. So let's go ahead and dominate time possession. Let's go ahead and dominate the run game. And we're going to play good defense. And therefore, we're going to come out of these games victorious. As far as how I see the Penn State game going for Notre Dame, I think they're going to come out of this game victorious. They're going to be the more physical team at the line of scrimmage. They're going to run the football effectively. Defensively, they're going to get stops on Penn State's high-flying offense. I think Drew Allar has been playing pretty well in the college football playoff, but he's been pretty shaky for them for the most part this year. I know a lot of people like Drew Allar. I've never really been sold on Drew Allar since day one. I expect Drew Allar to struggle massively against Notre Dame's defense. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I don't think this game is necessarily going to be a blowout, but I think Notre Dame will be in control throughout this game. It's going to be pretty apparent that Notre Dame is the better team when you watch them compared to Penn State. I believe Notre Dame is going to come out of this game victorious by 6 points. The final score of this game is going to be Notre Dame 19, Penn State 13. Ultimately, though, I think the difference in this game is going to come down to level of toughness, and I believe Notre Dame is the tougher team when you compare them to Penn State, and I think Marcus Freeman is going to outcoach James Franklin in this ball game. Joel Klatt is absolutely right. Marcus Freeman is a better coach than James Franklin, and I'd rather trust Marcus Freeman to win big games than James Franklin. James Franklin is not a coach that you trust when his team is an underdog, and in this game, Penn State is an underdog. Therefore, I'm not picking Penn State to win this game. I'm picking Notre Dame to win this game. It's going to be an exciting game, that's for sure. It might even be a slugfest, but Notre Dame is going to get the job done. It's that simple. So that is why I trust Marcus Freeman to get a win for Notre Dame against Penn State, as the final score of that game will be 19-13 Notre Dame. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy talking.